So going into this movie, yeah, it's not good. I'm gonna be blunt with you, man. I'll tell you what I do like. I like the old cast in it. It was great to see him back again. It's great to follow through with them. They don't feel like an extended cameo. They have like a big role in the whole film. So I like them in the movie, and I do like. There's this motorcycle chase that you've seen in all the trailers, with Chris Pratt, and if they're going through the streets. That scene is like the most exciting part of the movie. I was actually having a good time, and so I like that, and I like the cinematography. Some of the shots look amazing. I will admit that, but yeah, the problem with Dominion is the fact that they don't take it. They didn't follow through what had happened at the end of Fallen Kingdom. They don't. What I mean by that is that, at the end of Fallen Kingdom, the dinosaurs are let loose, and I remember thinking to myself, okay, so the next movie is just going to be complete chaos. Like, it's going to be like humans versus dinos, the battle over land, like, that type of movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
They do not take advantage of that. All of that shit gets glossed over because dinos are part of society, and people are so casual about it, like it's like there's a fucking Walmart across the street. It is that kind of casual.
Okay.
And they ditch all of that. They ditch all of that to do this random storyline. This random storyline with this evil organization that Dodson is heading up. That, I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not like, because it felt so unlike Jurassic Park. It felt like a 90s disaster movie plot. I didn't like it.
Damn.
And yeah, and I didn't like basically the dinosaurs don't even matter in this movie. It feels like they're just thrown to the foreground to make room for this big bad, organization.
Oh.
So yeah. So you do that, and then kind of like, Dodson's the bad guy. He's played by Richard Parker from the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and he was bad in this movie. He was such a cartoony bad guy.
Damn.
Like they didn't even write him as like an interesting bad guy at all. They just wrote him as just this kind of like super generic cartoony type of bad guy, and it just really let me down, because you've seen him in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
And they just write him as this one-note bad guy. There's even one part of the movie where like everything's going wrong for him, and he throws this temper tantrum. And I swear to you, I started laughing. It was that goofy.
Wow.
And yeah. So you have things like that in the movie, and then the way the movie ends is that it doesn't even feel like it doesn't even end like a conclusion, like a closer. It just feels like it ends like a standard Jurassic Park movie.
So, are you saying that this is not the end of the franchise? Or did they just, leave it open for someone else to come make a new movie?
I think it could go kind of either way, that they could close it right here, but it feels very underwhelming as a closer. Or they could do another movie down the line, or even a series in the Jurassic Park world if they wanted to.
Interesting. That sounds like the experience I had with The Rise of Skywalker. I loved The Last Jedi, and when I got into that movie, I was like, firstly, the plot just, keeps going as if someone is writing mindless, illogical shit on a paper, and the scenes just go from one scene to the next as if it just has to go because it's written on the paper and not because it's logical or what's happening, stuff like that. And on top of that, it just felt so disconnected from the storyline that we were seeing from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. And I was like, why did they do this? And then in the finale, they just did the Endgame ripoff type of thing, and I was just like, it felt like such a product movie. You have to, how 10 suits get into a room and they just pull out the data sheet, and they
Hmm.
tell Abrams that these things, we have a list of 10 top 10 things that people get excited for when they come to a Star Wars movie. We need these to be one movie. Go make it. So that was the type of movie
Yeah,
that I got from that.
yeah. I honestly, it does. It's not too dissimilar to Rise of Skywalker. It definitely has those types of vibes where it felt like the studio said to Trevorrow, "Okay, people really like the old cast reuniting. We see that in Ghostbusters. We see that in Matrix and Spider-Man. You got to put the old cast in this movie, and you got to do this right here." And so they had to concoct this random ass storyline to just put the old cast in there and have them do this thing that happens. And on that level, it makes, while it makes the old cast kind of interesting, it gives them something to do. It makes Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard just the most boring part of the movie.
Damn. They're the
Yeah,
leads.
it's like I said, just it went wrong. And I looked up because I was like, okay, this movie does not feel like it was written by the same guys who wrote the other two Jurassic World movies. And I looked it up, and the writer of this movie is someone by the name of Emily Carmichael. And Emily Carmichael is the person who wrote Pacific Rim Uprising,
Oh.
which Pacific Rim Uprising was similar to this in that it puts the robots versus monsters aspect in the background and just has this random storyline of who's driving this like drone, this robot as like its main storyline that makes it go, this isn't Pacific Rim, this is just some random mystery storyline. And that's how I felt with this when they just throw the dinosaurs to the foreground and do this kind of bioweapon super evil organization storyline as your main focus.
Oh. Yeah, that would definitely suck. But look,
Yeah.
I was excited for this movie, but hearing things like this, it just breaks my heart because I was, I always find myself in these situations where, I love a franchise where most people probably don't like it as much as I did, but then they change it up so much that it doesn't interest me anymore, and it just feels, and nobody even likes it now, right? Like, how many people are praising this movie? Not many people are praising this movie at all. So
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things that people say, oh, it's the worst Jurassic Park movie. I still think the third movie is the worst, but this is like a runner up.
I saw your ranking, and that, I think that is a very popular type of ranking. Like, I would definitely rank it that way myself as well. I do
Yeah.
think that Fallen Kingdom is better than Jurassic World, because it has an aesthetic, it has a style, a look, and the horror. The dinosaurs, in that are kind of like a villain. They act like a human villain. The horror type of villain. I liked that aspect
Yeah.
of it. They creep up and they do the evil smile and all that. It's just funny and scary at the same time. So I just like that stuff. The first movie is cool. Jurassic World feels much like the first, Planet of the Apes movie. It was kind of
Hmm.
wholesome and bright and all that. And then we go into Dawn, which is complete shift. you know.
Hmm.
So I kind of like that, but it's just unfortunate that the third movie turned out like this. I'm still gonna go watch it myself, but it's just disappointing because I hate when you have these types of complete 180s from the franchise, which you do for what? Like, most people don't even like it now. So why did you do it for? And it's ironic that it happened to
It's
Colin again.
yeah, especially when it's this late in the franchise too,
Yeah,
because like like if it was the second movie, I feel like it'd be much more forgiving. But this is the third movie of the franchise of the trilogy, and
right.
you spent the first two movies establishing things, then you do this random 180 that you're kind of like, what's going on here? But it's funny you mentioned that about Colin, and this is something I kind of want to bring up. I honestly think it's a blessing we didn't get Colin's episode 9 after watching this. I you're gonna hate me when I say this, but I do think Rise of Skywalker is the lesser of these two evils.
Damn, that's saying something because I absolutely
Yeah,
that look, movies never make me angry, right? Even if it's a very bad movie, I just don't feel angry. I feel like, oh, it's just not for me. It's boring or disappointing, and I just turn it off, right? Um,
right.
but Rise of Skywalker just made me angry because of how it felt like the movie was assuming that the audience is the most stupid and you can get away with anything, and the movie is laughing at you for being stupid. It felt that way. And that's literally one of the worst experiences in my in my life for a movie theater, honestly, because of how stupid that movie is. But if you're saying that this is the less of the two evils, then I don't know, man, because look, when I read the scripts for that, or someone did a YouTube video, you know reading the scripts in a dramatic way and using pictures and clips and stuff like that. They did a pretty good presentation for that, for what his movie would have been, Duel of the Fates, and I thought that was pretty good. It wasn't, it still wasn't what I would have wanted as a follow up for The Last Jedi, but it still was in continuity to that, right? It was
Right.
more hopeful. Finn had a bigger role. Kylo had a better, ending and all that. The Knights of Ren and all that are there. So it still felt like a follow up. The Rise of Skywalker just, I don't think they could have made a worse movie than that. But if you're saying that that is the lesser of these two evils, oh man, I'm now contemplating if I even should go watch this.
I mean, I think it'll be on Peacock in a few weeks. In a few weeks from now, so you could just. I mean, I don't know if you have Peacock, but if you do, you can just kind of like watch it on there for free. Granted, you won't gain your time back, but at least they won't have your money.